So welcome back to the channel. It is Christmas time 2024 and we have not posted in ages. I had every intention of keeping this channel going, but what a year it has been. It's just been incredibly busy. Just pause the video there and just go in a different direction. We had the MOT bay put in. I think that may be visible in a different video, but I thought I'd actually just show the process of putting that in. And then my favourite bit of the whole thing is painting the floor. So I thought I'd just put a bit of a collage together and take you through it. And I've had to move a ramp, get rid of the ramp, move it out of the way because be cutting the floor out. So exciting times. Yeah, groundwork is coming today to cut this out so we can finally put a class 7 MOT bay in there and get rolling with the MOTs. And then it was in with the big guns, cutting out this floor, diggers everywhere, rubble everywhere, absolute nightmare. But these guys absolutely smashed it out so fast, you would not have seen it. 24 hours later there wasn't a bit of mess anywhere, I couldn't believe it. And that was the hole all pretty much dug out. All the concrete broken up and removed, and we had to dig down after that to get the level that we needed. And then there's me doing a bit of digging. Shocked seeing me doing any work, but there we go. And just everything going in, all the metal work. Yeah, obviously I had some help in doing it, of course, but yeah, we didn't think this machine was going to fit in the unit. It missed it by 2 inches, and even then that was when we had to lift it up. But just some more photos. That machine actually was incredible. Obviously to some of the builders here you'll know, but mixing up the concrete how you want it while it's here was just crazy. And we're getting there. Actually I think some of these pictures in the wrong order, but there we go. Getting ready to pour, and obviously you've already seen it poured in, so here it goes. Look at them guns. Just, yeah, nothing like a bit of manual labour. Pretending that I know what I'm doing here. And I can lift the wheelbarrow full of concrete. And that's it all poured. And then this was the MOT bay going in. Didn't get loads of photos of this, but there we go, in place, and the very first car on it. All done. And then this is what the floor was like. You could see it was horrible in progress. That little machine that you can see there walked around itself. It walked itself around. It was incredible machine. And then look at that. That is just before the lines went down. I was so happy at this point with all the finish. I think some of them have been started. That's the MOT lines that we need. Is now gonna have to paint the walls because they look horrible, especially that office wall needs sorting. But yeah, wow, really happy with it. Obviously it's not a mirror finish, it'd be absolute nightmare to do that, but it is a workshop, that's what you got to remember. But it's yeah, I'm over the moon with it. Always wanted to have it done, and finally it's there. So I'm thinking painting that bottom half of the wall. I don't know what colour, I don't think it should be white, maybe a lighter grey or something along them lines. Painting all these blocks just with a solvent based sort of paint that we can use to wipe off sort of thing when it's done. But yeah, over the moon with it, really happy. Yeah, it'd be good. I mean, I wanted the MOT bay a different colour. I wanted that pit yellow, but it just wasn't really viable. They reckon that everyone I know has had it done, so it's just an absolute nightmare with keeping it clean. It always looks dirty, so we just went with the grey. But yeah, over the moon, happy, finally it's done. Just got to keep it clean now. Gonna need to get a floor scrubber and just keep on top of it once a week or something. But yeah, cannot wait to get back. The only thing is, they have said we're not allowed in it till Monday at the earliest, which means that Monday we're going to have to put stuff together, which means we're going to be a bit slow for the week. But if anyone's been waiting for us, I appreciate the patience. But yeah, hopefully it'll be all worth it once we've painted all these walls, etc, etc. Yeah, it should look really nice, so happy with it overall. And this was me super excited, testing out just how shiny that floor was. And then I think we've got a couple of photos here of everything back in. I don't think this was all of it, because it gets even more congested now, but it's all done. So yeah, busy year, but I'm pleased to say that we've come to the end of the year and we have got a full team now. We've got 4 mechanics in there, and if you look at this little clip, we've got 4 ramps and 4 mechanics, so that's going to lead to its own challenges, because I'm not going to be able to have a bay on my own to get some footage for you. Plus it's very difficult to film in a working garage, so a lot of the videos, I'm afraid some of the quality is not going to be amazing, because we're going to have to do a lot of voiceovers and things like that, because there's just too many variables in a working garage, and even GDPR is a big issue in having the recording going on, and obviously the music in the background. So yeah, bear with us, but we're trying. We're going to get there, I'm sure. I want to. Yeah, we've got an office to stick upstairs. Once we've cleared up and built some stairs and built that office, I'm hoping I'll have a little studio, sort of not a studio, but an office, and I can use that to get some footage out. I'm hoping to get a video out a week. Was going to sort of slightly not change the direction of the channel, but it's, I don't know if it's any secret, I do buy and sell the cars, the odd car, and some of that footage I think would be quite interesting. So we've set ourselves a little challenge, which we will get into later in the video. So let me know what you would like to see from us. I'm going to take you through a fault that we had. I'm just going to start off light. I'll start with a fault we had earlier in the year, and yeah, a bit of a headache around parts, aftermarket and genuine. So we'll take you through that. If there's time, I'm going to take you through a training session on 5-volt references that we did in-house. If not, that might be in the next video. But my biggest question to you guys is, what do you want to see? Do you want to see the car sales? Do you want to see general work being done? Do you want to know about the business? How did we start out? How did we get to where we are now? What challenges come along the way? Because believe me, fixing cars is, I think, 10 times easier than owning a business. I really do. So let us know what you think. I'd appreciate the comments. Unfortunately, we did lose a lot of footage. So there was the previous video we left on a bit of a cliffhanger. Basically, one of the synchros had gone in that gearbox. I did check them. I did actually check them on camera, but I obviously didn't check them enough. Made a mistake, so we ended up having to pull the gearbox back out and put a second gear synchros in. And as far as I'm aware, that vehicle is now fine. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you want to see, and I really want to push this channel in 2025. I don't know whether to split it, one video on car sales, one garage, or try and just do half and half. I'm not sure. It depends how many car sales we actually get through. But yeah, stay tuned towards the end of the video, because yeah, there's an exciting little project come up, and I'd like to take you guys on the journey with me. So 2015 Citroen Relay, it came into us. It had a couple of issues. It had a blocked DPF and it had an EGR fault. The DPF was the vaporizer, which was blocked up. It's quite common. There's a little vaporizer which sprays diesel into the exhaust to get it hot, to help clean it out, and it was blocked. But the van was also reporting EGR codes. Did our normal checks, replaced the EGR valve. Code kept coming back. The code in question was E0488-78, EGR valve first programming failed. Now the other EGR had thrown a different fault code, but we replaced it. The fault kept coming back, so I thought that's strange. So I checked it again, and this time I thought it's got to be that EGR. The programming went through. We went through a bit of a headache trying to get the EGR programmed. My tools were saying they'd done it. We tried several others. In the end, tried the Citroen tool, still failed. Still scratching my head thinking, I'm sure that's not the case. So then we bought a genuine EGR and we fitted that one. Still having the same problem, and ended up paying for the Citroen technical data. We've got auto data, and it showed us the feedback voltages from it. And in the end, I thought there's got to be something wrong here. The voltage was showing slightly out of spec, very, very slightly. So I just assumed that it was a faulty EGR valve, but now we've got a genuine one. So am I wrong? You start doubting yourself. In the end, we went through I think we fitted 3 or 4 EGR valves to it, still playing up. I ended up cutting the wiring apart, checking everything, load testing all the wires, still got this issue. And finally, after multiple attempts, we went for another aftermarket one, and it was a Peerbug brand, so remember that if you're ever doing one, and it fixed the fault. But how on earth did we get 4 faulty EGR valves? Well, I'm going to show you how. We'll go through. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just show you on the screen how the EGR valve works. There's 6 wires to it, 6 pins, 5 wires, and I'll just show you how that works. And then I'm going to take you back in time to a little video that I did at the time on explaining it. I'm hoping it explains it fairly well, how we were testing the EGR valves, and in the end, ultimately, I knew it had to be that, but because we'd had 4 faulty components and they were all good brands, including one genuine Peugeot one, you kind of then do start doubting your diagnosis. But I certainly wouldn't doubt it again on one of these now, and you'll see we did get it right first time, but the parts were faulty. So just to explain the plug on the EGR valve, here you've got the positive output for the motor to open the valve, and here's the ground. This pin isn't actually used, it's a 6-pin plug, but there's no wire to it. Then you've got the signal ground here, the signal 5 volt for the reference, and the signal output. Now these are 2 separate circuits. This is one circuit and this is a totally different circuit. Although it's still in the same component, they are 2 completely isolated circuits. So the way it works is you will have a sliding scale. So you'll have the 5 volt here and the 0 volt here, and this signal output wire will work on a sliding scale. Now it's usually pretty much to a minimum of 0.2 volt and a maximum of 4.8 volt. And what happens is, as the EGR valve opens on this particular vehicle, it starts off at, on this car, it's got to be pretty much 0.8 volts. There is a minimum and a maximum, which I will find now. So it's about 0.78 is the minimum that this should be on these EGR valves on these Citroen Relays, and they will go up. So as the valve opens, it will slowly or quickly increase to 4.8 volts, and that is how the ECU knows what the position of the EGR valve is. So try and bear that in mind when we go into the next video, because this did cause me quite a headache. So I've got a crude little setup here just to show you what's going on. You've got 6 pins on this EGR valve, and these 2 wires, the thicker ones, are for a motor. And if we apply a little bit of voltage, you can see that opening. The other ones, we've got 3 wires. One goes to ground, one goes to a 5 volt reference on the ECU, which we are going to imitate with this power probe, like a voltage reference probe. And the final wire is a voltage wire, which is going into our multimeter. And the ECU will read the position of this EGR valve. So as this EGR valve goes out, there is a sensor in here which puts out a varied voltage, and as to where that EGR valve is, it puts out a certain voltage. This is what's called pulse width modulation. Pulse width modulated. So basically, it switches a voltage on and off incredibly fast to keep that where it wants to be. I can't imitate it because I'm not fast enough, but it will just it will just smash the voltage so quickly that it keeps the valve in the position that it needs to be in. It switches itself back, so I presume these are just a ground and a positive. It doesn't switch, so some of them will switch on the ECU, so it will switch the ground and positive to pull it back, but this one's got a big spring in it, sorry. Hopefully I'm explaining this properly. So we've got our 5 volt going in. Now I'll have to hold this, which is a bit annoying. So this is our 12 volt. Now this is plugged into the ECU. This goes directly to the ECU, so all these wires run through the ECU, and it's got a 12 volt motor from the ECU, pulse width modulated, so it can switch really quickly and keep it in the position it wants. And the ECU will also have a diode in it, which brings the voltage down to 5 volt, which is what all the sensors sort of tend to run at. So it knows the EGR is shut because it's at that voltage, and then when it's, so you've got 1 volt, and then when it fully opens it will go up to 4.7, and when it just wants 20%, it will hammer that voltage so quickly that it will just keep it at a certain percentage, but I'm not quick enough. So the problem with this one was this is sitting at 1 volt, as I said, and it should be 0.8, and it is that sensitive that when the ignition is switched on and the EGR is in its resting position, it's already failed because it's reading too much voltage, and it's thinking, why is that stuck open slightly? So it just throws this fault code. So it is an absolute nightmare, it really is. So you can see we did get it right the first time, as I've mentioned already, but parts, they're just a minefield, and one of those parts was genuine. It was in a Peugeot box. It wasn't like we'd been sent like an aftermarket one. It was genuine valve, and it still had the issue. So there was obviously some sort of supply issue somewhere. And interestingly, the Transits, which have this engine in, don't seem to be quite as fussy as them, but there we go. That fixed that. Headache over. So if you've ever got your car in a garage and the garage is scratching their heads and in the end tell you that there's parts coming to faulty, just know they've spent hours trying to prove that. So can we turn this little Ford into a Lamborghini? Now, I'm not talking about let's smash some Lambo doors on this and a big old body kit and a really loud exhaust. I think those days are going behind us now, but I will sit down and explain it more in time. But I want to start with this, and I want to end up with a Lamborghini. Now, it is orange, so maybe by the end of this series it should be an orange one that we finish with, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but let's get into the plan. Now, there is a couple of rules to this little challenge, and that is, well, there's 2 main rules. One, it cannot affect the garage, so it can't take time, money or resources off of the garage. And number 2 is it can't take up all my time away from personal things and family life. So they're the 2 main rules. So the other challenges that are going to come up is, I've said before, there's 4 ramps out there and there's 4 technicians, so they're going to be working. So I'm going to be outside in the cold, I think, or nabbing the ramp when I can, when we're not using them for work. So we'll see how we get on. And yeah, basically we just want to get one of them gone, get the Focus bought. It's been bought for £1,000. We want to get rid of that, sell that for a profit, put that profit into another vehicle, and so on and so forth. But there is one little more comment to make, which is there are 2 significant head starts that I've got. I'm sitting at one of them and I'll just show you the other. So that might give you a little heads up on what's to come. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please like, subscribe and share if you can. I'm determined to push this channel forward in 2025. And like I say, let us know what you want to see. We'll try and split this from maybe the garage and car repair, and then obviously the little challenge we've got. But like I say, we've got a bit of a head start to this challenge, so I'm determined to make it happen. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I want to make some good content. And also, there are a few little vehicles that I think I'd want to own. So maybe we can grab some of those little cars on the way, have a little bit of fun, and most importantly, get some footage. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.